I used to have swim practice on New Year's Day.
Hey, what?
I used to have swimming practice on New Year's Day just to make sure they behaved on New Year's Eve.
Hopefully it wasn't early,
Oh, heck, yes, it was early.
Yeah.
because that's what I remember when Ray Ann was a swimmer and diver. Had to be over there like at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Yep.
Isn't that blonde?
You ready?
That blonde back there is Rosie.
We're ready when you are.
Okay. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. We'll call the Redevelopment Commission to order. First will be a roll call. Ann McGinnis,
Here.
BJ Deppie,
Present.
Paul Buning,
Here.
Josh Prine,
Here.
Deb Gill,
Here.
Richard Wertz present. So we have a quorum. And the first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from November 18th.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is our approval of claims. Krista got those admitted. The claims amount to $1,129,390.85, so we need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm just going to mention two things under old business. One, in our minutes, we have the Aspires getting us a new contract, and the downtown parking lot is going to be ready in January. Okay, moving to new business. Adam Stone, EDC Software.
Okay, so I'll give Adam just a brief introduction. So Adam's with Stone Municipal Group. He reached out to Dana and I, and he has been to our Economic Development Commission and presented this already. But what he's looking at is, and you can explain this probably a little bit better than in more detail, but we are excited to be working with Adam on the potential for some software to track tax abatements. The compliance with that is a challenge every year, and then also the software that he has would allow us to kind of play with incentive offers and different scenarios for companies going forward. So I will just turn the rest of that over to you. I just wanted to bring Adam here today to kind of as an introduction to you, but moving forward, the intent is to contract for services with Adam and moving forward. So just wanted to kind of start that conversation with you all as a commission and give you a chance to answer or ask any questions for Adam. So I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Hey, thank you all so much.
Could you give us your name?
Yep. So my name's Adam Stone. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you all this morning. Just a quick introduction about myself. Active Indiana CPA. I've spent my entire career in local government finance, specifically, probably from just like a practical sense. I got my first start as being the city controller for Greenwood, Indiana in 2012. That was really when I kind of got a passion for local government coming out of college. And actually, it's shortly thereafter, I was in a council meeting for Greenwood. This was probably 2013, 2014. And I had been through one or two city budget cycles where, everybody budget resources were tight. And, at one council meeting, there were 10 tax abatements that went through unanimously approved with no comment that had somewhere in the order of magnitude of about $50 million worth of AV deducted. And I was just sitting there and I was like, millions of dollars just traded hands, and we didn't really even have discussion about it, let alone we just spent the last two budget cycles fighting over $1,000 here or $1,000 there. So that was really when the first moment of like, I need to understand this abatement compliance more really kind of set. The first few years, I really just tried to get my hand on the files. If you've ever seen these documents, they're extensive. And I vividly remember one time actually sitting on the floor of our office, and team member of mine sat there, and we just tried to get our arms around it for a community, and it literally just covered the entire floor of the office in paperwork. And it's a very paper-based system. So that was when I had the first kind of thought that, man, there's got to be a better way to manage these things, both from a just human element, and then secondly, from a compliance and finance perspective as well. So that was this kind of the history of this. So we have been sort of on a pursuit to try to make this more advantageous to just utilize to do this work, and have really approached it from a technology perspective. And so what I'll share with you today is kind of what we've put together, and explain kind of why I think it's important now, and why I think it makes sense for the city. So first and foremost, even 2 years ago, I know you probably all have heard a little bit about Senate Enrolled Act 1 at this point, but if you think about how much has changed, the best way I could say it in simple terms is that every single tax parcel in the state of Indiana is impacted by the bill in one way or the other, either from a residential deduction perspective, a non-residential deduction perspective, or from a commercial property, essentially the rotation of that tax liability from residential over to commercial in the form of higher tax rates. So what I get at there is that the actual projects that may have made sense for the city 2 years ago all of a sudden look very different, both from either a density perspective, cost benefit perspective, or a return on investment perspective to the city as a result of these legislative changes. So all of that is factored into the technology as far as the computation of what those sort of benefits are, both from a property tax and a local income tax perspective, as well as all other sort of costs and benefits related to certain types of projects. So while the Redevelopment Commission may be purely focused on the property tax component, the city may be, and the overlapping units may be certainly more looking at it from the aspects that are not captured at the RDC level, specifically the other sort of revenues that a new project or development would produce for the community. So the way it kind of works here is, the idea is that you could have all of the projects in one area, and then from that specific place you have access for your teams to come through, interact with the project, track and record specific information as far as the incentives, the cost benefit, compliance metrics, all in one place, just to try to improve kind of the tracking analysis over time. So really, in a nutshell, the core is trying to make sure that the compliance is as streamlined and as efficient as possible. When you consider there's tens of millions of dollars running through these programs, we believe this technology could easily see a 5 to 10% improvement in that, which would create a massive return on investment to your city. Secondarily, just the benefit of being able to kind of have it at your fingertips, to be able to compute the cost benefit, understand which sort of project types make more or less sense in the current environment. Ultimately, we understand that land within the city is ultimately finite. So, what we're trying to do is create the best possible tool so that your decision makers can understand really that value per acre, what's remaining, and maximize that for the residents that are here. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we're really excited to get started. I think this team, specifically with Franklin, is outstanding. It's one of the reasons we wanted to work specifically with this team, is just because of their extensive knowledge on the compliance front as well. I think it's a great fit for us, and we're really excited to help.
Anybody have questions? I guess we'll follow up, because there's a lot running through my mind,
Sure.
but I don't know how to funnel the questions that
Sure.
I mentioned. But it sounds like a great tool.
Thank you.
If we could utilize it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I appreciate the time, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Adam, thank you. We'll move now to Resolution 2025-22, a matching grant fund for Franklin College, Resolution 2025-22.
Dana, do you want to talk about the Ready Fund dollars and the need for this resolution?
So as I told you last month, the city, through the Ready program, the Ready 2 program that was put on by the state, did receive a grant for the Franklin College Innovation Park project, specifically for the infrastructure for the 2 buildings that will be tentatively built. 2 buildings will be for the research and development, the industrial sector, the flex space. So as part of the compliance through that, because this is running through the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, they want us to be able to show that we have the matching funds, because there is a 1-to-1 match that is required for this. So for this grant, while we did receive a grant for $500,000, we were to have a $500,000 match for our portion. And again, this is strictly for the infrastructure, the roads, and putting in the initial utilities just for those 2 buildings. It is not for the entire Innovation Park project. So they wanted us to have a resolution that showed that, yes, we would be able to pay our portion. It's a little frustrating, and they've heard me, they know that. But we're at the end of the year, we do not have contracts, we cannot encumber any funds because we don't have the contracts. So we're doing this resolution, and then we will be coming back to you next year when we actually have a contract and completely redoing everything. But that seems to be the way Ready 2 has run from the beginning. There have been a lot of redundancies in this. So essentially, this is just saying that, yes, the city does have the funds and is participating in this project. This is going to be a really good thing. This portion of it is going to be really good for our city, bringing in some really, they're focusing on bioscience, they're focusing on research and development, so companies like B2S Labs, Proliance, those kinds of companies that we really would like to have more of here. High wage, highly skilled, very well set and positioned for the future type of jobs. So that's what we are supporting and working with. So this resolution is done so that the IDC will know that, yes, we are willing to participate in this project. There are still, obviously, there's still deadlines, there's still things that the college has to do. This does not commit us if the college does not do their portion. So if for some reason they don't get this project started by the end of December of 2026, which is their deadline to get things started, then we are not responsible for this. So this is only going to happen if they do their portion as well.
Dana, quick question.
Yes.
Should there be dollars included? Because here it just says request is under consideration.
Richard, I made it vague because there are additional hoops that would need to be jumped through before you can spend TIF dollars here. So I was not comfortable with you actually making a specific commitment out of TIF dollars today.
Okay.
So this serves to show the IEDC that, yes, we are willing to participate, and yes, we're moving forward with the project. And we don't have to have those specifics. We know in our minds what that's going to be, but.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2025-22.
So moved.
We have a motion, need a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And Richard, if I may, I just wanted to, just from our previous presentation, I just wanted to let you know, the EDC did review the software that Stone Municipal Group has brought. It is going to be extremely valuable, just something that he was talking about, the length of time. If you guys could see me in the spring in compliance, hours and hours. Ellen is smiling because she knows, hours and hours. And he is not lying when he's saying you literally, at one point will have your floor full of paperwork and everything. The EDC did see this as a huge tool because it will save a lot of staff time. It will help to break things down very clearly for us. Right now, when we do a lot of our estimates, is very high level. Adam's software, because of the fact that Adam has done compliance in Johnson County, he knows exactly what the county is looking for. Every county has their own requirements. This is written specifically so that we will be 100% in line with what the county is requiring us to have, with what we need as a city. We will be able to do a lot better and a lot more clear due diligence on these projects. As of now, when we come in and those of you on city council, when you see us and we say we have, they're saving $10 million in over the next 10 years and things like that, we'll have a lot more accuracy in that. We'll be able to also compare apples to apples when it comes to things like their salaries. Because of SEA 1 and the major changes that are being made to municipal finance, we're going to need to be much more aware of what those local income taxes are, what those wages are. This is going to be able to break that down for us, whereas now we have a lot harder time to do that. One of the things that they also liked about it is that we can run these same type of numbers on housing projects. We can run these same types of numbers on commercial projects. We can run these same type of numbers on private project or public projects. So we'll be able to know exactly what those cost-benefit analysis are. The EDC did feel like this was such a strong tool and really felt like this was something that they wanted to see the city be able to utilize, that they did make a motion and vote to recommend that we do request the funding from you to have this tool, to be able to start it next year. If this were to come through, we would start working with Adam. Next year, I would still be doing our traditional compliance, but I would be working, Krista, I would be working side by side with Adam as we kind of transition over and make sure that we've got all of the T's crossed and I's dotted and all of the numbers right and everything. So next year would be a transition year to make sure that we had it straight. But I did want to make sure that you guys knew that the EDC was very much in favor of this and did make a recommendation to participate in this program. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the 2026 Redevelopment Commission's annual spending plan. Krista?
So this is basically the same thing that was passed last year. The annual spending plan is the main categories for the Redevelopment Commission. This was a new requirement by the State Board of Accounts. And so it is very general. It does list a couple different categories. The first one is our debt payments. So we have 2 bonds that we make yearly payments on. And so those are the amounts there. So the I-65, the total amount for that bond, those are made in 2 payments a year of $1,355,000. And then the 2019 US 31 TIF bond, there are 2 payments made each year for that as well. So the total of our bond payments is $1,945,000 each year. That comes directly out of the revenue and the proceeds from those districts. And so then what we do is we just take the remainder of the money that is typically brought in, which is approximately $2.6 million. And those are the projects that we approve on kind of a monthly basis. So any kind of road projects, roundabouts, bridge improvements. We did sidewalks this year, those kinds of things. Signals, we're doing the Commerce Drive signal at Meyer and the new Chick-fil-A, any of those kinds of things. So that's kind of that general category that all of those things tend to fall under. And then we have a section for local economic development organizations or nonprofits. For an additional $500,000, and then our professional and legal expenses. So again, it's just a general outline of the categories in which projects can be paid for from. But this is something that does need your review and approval, and then will get uploaded to the gateway for our RDC reporting.
Does anyone have a question for Krista? Okay, we will entertain a motion to approve 2026 Redevelopment Commission Annual Spending Plan.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Other business, the November 2025 financial report.
Okay, let me bring that up. Not a lot to report on the Novembers, just added in the resolutions. I did notice that the resolutions somehow got cut off at the bottom. So we did approve Resolution 25-20 and 25-21 at our last meeting, and for some reason those are not showing up on here. So I do need to correct that at the bottom, but it does show we had some additional interest income. So our revenue year-to-date for interest income and grant reimbursements is $162,917. So those are all of our receipts. Again, these are the estimated amounts for the December 24 pay 25 taxes. Hopefully that will be a little bit higher, but we'll see. So that will be received before the end of the month. And I will get that updated on your December financial reports. Matt McElroy and I spent quite a bit of time with Crossroad Engineers. We did get all the encumbrances done for projects that would be carried over into 2026. So you'll see those all listed on your December report as well. So some of these amounts, remaining appropriations, will go down if projects came in under bid or money isn't being spent out of these resolutions. That'll kind of give us a fresh start for the January meeting, and then we'll have several resolutions for the January meeting as usual for bond payments, professional legal fees, utilities and maintenance, those kinds of things. So be on the lookout for those. But basically the estimated cash balance of $3,199,000 based on the resolutions and those claims that we paid and were approved earlier. You can see where our expenditures through the end of November was $5,847,000. And this is for the I-65 TIF. Do you have any questions about this one?
Looks good.
Okay. I am going to move to the US 31. There literally were no changes on this one at all. We have a bond payment that will be due in January, so we'll have a new resolution for that. There really weren't any expenditures or revenues. This really is the same numbers that you had for October for this TIF. There's not a lot of activity in this one.
Any questions on any of that? Okay. Let's move on to the December 2025 cash flow analysis worksheet.
This one was updated, and the resolutions that were approved last month are showing on here. So this does show at the bottom both the Scott Park project and the Commerce Drive Signal project. So Resolution 25-20 and 25-21, those were both added to this. So you can see with those two added, projected total funds balance at the end of this year of $2,598,243. And then for projects under consideration, they're the only, I think the major thing here, we did add the $500,000 for the Franklin College Innovation Park, the Ready Match. So that is if and when that project moves forward, that is listed there for you as well. I don't have a number of what I think the parking study is going to cost. We'll know more when we get those requests back and proposals back and start doing those interviews. So then we'll add an amount there when we can. That's that's it, unless there are any questions. You can still see the projects that we have planned for 2026 and 2027. And so those will change as we move into the new year and kind of reorganize these projects that are under development and then projects in consideration.
Okay, moving forward, Amanda, Aspire, Johnson County update.
Amanda,
State
do
your
you?
name.
Right, Amanda Rebedew, Aspire Johnson County.
And I have those slides brought up for you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Just wanted to provide you guys with some quick updates on some of our activity over the last month. These are annual numbers. This is the information that our EDAC members get. Thank you.
There's a tab
Okay.
down here for the sites. are
Yep,
listed
I see
here.
that. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. There we go. All right. Just so you can kind of get an idea of some of the activity that we've seen over the last year. So outbound marketing touches in that orange box, these are our outbound emails, phone calls to site selectors, brokers, just giving them an idea of some of the cool assets that we have here in Johnson County. Hey, did you realize this building just came online? Just information like that of just making sure that they're aware so that as those projects come up, we can be top of mind. Those then trigger actual conversations, actual like 15-minute conversations with brokers or site selectors. So we schedule those. We've got a slide deck that we go through, kind of get some information from them when we're talking, have a good understanding of what they're seeing, any of the challenges that our companies are running into, and what are their hot button items for their clients. These are specifically with site selectors and brokers. And then site visits, thankfully, this has gone up. This was a big fat goose egg for probably the first half of the year, I feel like. And so this has gone up. So we've had more folks actually coming out to take a look at sites, conducting those site visits, and then our BRE visits. These are our business retention and expansion visits. These are, again, this is across the county and for the year. So these are the visits that we have with existing business owners to get an idea of what their business model is, what their challenges are, how we can come alongside them both as a county and both as a community to make sure that they have the resources that they need to stay and grow here in Johnson County. So if they are looking to expand, if they're having some challenges finding workforce, getting their workforce upskilled, we can get them connected to those different resources. We've heard everything from I'm adding a new line to I've got a muskrat problem. So we want to be their first call. We want to be able to be available for those challenges. And if we don't know, we know who to talk to. So, and then, here we go. Month-to-month lead activity. So these are the leads that we have responded to, requests for information that we have received, that we have responded to. I think I mentioned the last time I kind of went through this, we respond to about half of what we see, just because of either it's not a good fit for our communities, the industry is not necessarily a good fit for what we're looking for, or we're not a good fit for them as far as not having the real estate that they're looking for. And so we've seen that, we usually see a slide towards the end of the year, and then that starts to pick up in January, which is typical, but it is slower. I attended the Indiana Economic Development Association meeting over the last couple of days last week, and the theme of the 2 days was uncertainty. That I think if I heard that word probably 100 times from all different aspects of folks, both site selectors, both locally, just uncertainty over what we've seen over the last year, uncertainty with tariffs. It wasn't necessarily an issue with tariffs. It was an issue of the uncertainty of the tariffs. Just tell me what I'm going to be spending, and then I can move on from that. That's kind of where our companies are. But It's just the fluctuation creates a lot of uncertainty for our companies. They are slower to make those decisions. On that lead pipeline, we are close to about where we were last year, 59 submissions this time last year, 53 this year, and those would result in, you can kind of see those job numbers and the potential investment. We do have 4 active projects. When I say active, that means that there's a two-way conversation. These submissions that you're seeing in the yellow, that can be a one-way conversation where we have just submitted the information and we are hoping to hear back from either the company, the broker, or the site selector, or through our state or regional agencies. Or we've just sent out the information and crossed our fingers that we don't get deleted off of a spreadsheet. But the 4 active projects, they're asking more questions, they're adding some of our data into their spreadsheet, we are in the process of getting on the short list, so that's positive. Any questions on this slide? As I go through this and as I am presenting more often to you guys, if there are particular items of interest, I'd really like to know that. I want to make sure that I'm providing you with the best information that I can be. On that, I did want to take you through our sites and buildings database. So you can find this on our Aspire Johnson County website. If you go to Doing Business, and then to land, building, and services. This is our, it's a widget we utilize through, it's called Zoom Prospector. And so this is the software that we utilize to submit projects through IEDC's portal. So they utilize Zoom Prospector. So our goal with this is to have this as updated as possible. This is self-populated. LoopNet doesn't funnel information into this. Realtor.com doesn't help us with this information. This is stuff that we are driving around. We've got relationships with brokers that when there's an update or a change, they'll send us that information so that we can update our info. We meet with Dana, Kristen, the mayor, to if they're aware of things that have either come that are no longer available or that have come online that are available now, and that gets populated into this website. This is also a really cool data tool that we utilize. It can give us drive time maps. So if we're doing a site visit or presenting to a company, we can do a drive time map that shows that we can pull from a particular number of population within a 30-minute drive, 60-minute drive, and also look at what that labor force looks like as well. But just kind of wanted to give you an idea. Let me look here, pull here, of what some of these tools look like. And so if you click on Linville Way, if you've been around for a minute, this is the old DeChang site. And just kind of gives you a map, property overview, a little bit of information about the site, brochure, and a little bit of information about the county. And so when brokers and site selectors are looking for particular sites, if sometimes they go directly to the area that they would be interested in, and sometimes they go through IEDC. And so we just want to make sure that we've got information available for those folks as well. We can also use this for folks that reach out directly to us and utilize this tool to do a search for their particular real estate needs that they're looking for as well. But if you really want to get nerdy and learn a little bit more about our demographics, as I said, you can do, within 10 miles, you can look at the population in 2030, the age distribution, and then go into labor force. Like I said, this is a neat tool that we utilize pretty often. Not the most user-friendly thing, but it's still very helpful for us. So once you learn it, it's much easier to work with. Any questions on that?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
We look forward to having you back.
Yeah, I look forward to sharing more information.
Hopefully 26 is a good year.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to public comments and announcements. Mayor, and I want to thank you and the city for the outstanding job you did with the recent snow in our community.
Well, thank you for that, but it's probably all the thanks needs to go to the street department, the parks department, and sewer department. They did a heck of a job, and I think we're all proud of them, so they did a great job. I can say I shoveled a little bit, but that was about it, so. No, I just want to say Merry Christmas and congratulations on a successful 2025 and looking forward to a very successful 2026. And it just wanted to kind of point out, you see that Aspire uses a lot of data. It's a lot of data-driven base. The same thing with what Adam's trying to do. With Franklin, that's a lot of data that we'll be able to use. Hope you take that into consideration. Krista, what's the plan to try to move forward?
Yeah, so I wanted to have an opportunity for you all to kind of hear the presentation today and then have Dana report on the EDC. We do have a contract for services from Adam, so I will be sending that to you if you have any questions, but we'll get that on the agenda for the January meeting.
And we sat through an hour-and-a-half presentation with Adam. Also, Jeff Peters, our financial consultant that we highly respect and rely on. We've talked with Adam and Jeff about, because Adam does the same thing as Jeff does, plus this. Jeff Peters has put his blessings on this program. I just wanted to put that out there that Jeff is very much aware and is excited about us using this software as well. So, but anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to show my support for the tool that Adam has put together, and hopefully we get to use that next year. So thank you, and see you guys, if not sooner, next year.
When the weather changes. Dana, anything else?
Nothing else? Thank you.
Rosie? Rob?
So, real quick, I want to give you kind of a
Your name?
Rob Schultz. And don't cross the L. So I want to give you kind of a year-end where we're at. We engaged with Johnson Grossnickel and Associates to do a 3-year strategic plan. We're nearing the end of that. We just have to fill in some of the pages included in that. We have hired theater architects from, they're called Schuler Shook out of Minneapolis, and they have done theaters worldwide. And I have always been impressed with their work. We are also employing RC engineers, and what we're doing is we're looking at the capacities of the stage, the wooden grid, all of these kinds of things to see if we can get our movie screen to fly, and as well as speakers, all of that kind of stuff, so we can use the entire stage, which then ties into the first quarter of 2026, where we will be doing live acts with the help of EDC, Festival Country, and First Financial. We have about $35,000 to work with, and we have booked lots of different acts of all kinds, comedians, singers, concerts, puppy pals. That'll be interesting. But all of these things are a way to see if we can bring more traffic downtown to the city of Franklin and kind of jumpstart that first quarter and get things moving. So we're excited about this. This is with JGA. It was both staff and our board. And so we're coming up with some pretty good ideas. And then lastly, it is that time again for Christmas vacation, so you will see more Cousin Eddies than you typically do. So just giving you that warning out there. Again, Rob Schultz, Franklin Heritage Art Craft Theater. Any questions?
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate the update and what you're trying to do for downtown. Les? Joe, welcome. Okay, BJ?
Nothing.
Paul? Ann?
Just Merry Christmas to everyone.
Josh? Deb, what about the school?
Well, okay. Julie Rowan, who is an educator in Franklin Schools, was recently honored by the Indiana Department of Education for Excellence in Literacy, and she received a check. We have several position vacancies ranging from pool director to alternative education skills specialist. That's district-wide. Last count, we had almost 6,000 students corporation-wide. Project updates. The high school projects are, even with the snow, moving along quite well, and everything's expected to be ready for baseball and softball season, including the hitting barn. And the soccer and performing arts field and the ag projects are also moving well. And Cub Academy, the brick has been started on the outside. Metal studs are defining the rooms inside. And most of that is done on the inside as far as metal studs, so you can see the different rooms that there are going to be in the Cub Academy. And Merry Christmas.
Krista, anything?
Just to make sure you have all the claims signed, and the resolution. And then I do believe all of your terms have been reappointed, so everyone should be set for January. We will have officer elections at our January meeting,
Our next meeting will be January 20th.
January 20th.
I just want to wish all of the Redevelopment Commission a happy holiday, and we look forward to 2026 as an opportunity for our community, and appreciate the work that all of you put in. So with that, we'll adjourn.